AM 560. The Answer.
J.B. Pritzker reporting from war-torn Chicago. As you can see, there's utter mayhem and chaos on the ground. So it's a challenge to survive here in the city of Chicago, but there's no hellscape that I'd rather be in.
He's never really there. 46 now is the count, the official count. 46 Wildings shooting 46 other Wildings, and who knows how many. I mean, it's just ghetto. Ghetto! So what is the answer? Let's make money on this son of a gun. What else are you going to do? You got to make money. Got to make money.
So, yeah, it is personal. Black death has been, unfortunately, accepted in this country for a very long time. We had a chance 60 years ago to get at the root causes, and people mocked President Johnson. And we ended up with Richard Nixon.
Does he not know that people mock him? Does he not know? It was funny. I had to go through Michelle Obama's underwear drawer called O'Hare. That you want to talk about? Ugh. It's $18 billion over, 13 years? It smells like Michelle Obama's underwear drawer. And it's the work and the falling apart and all the rest of it. And this idiot's on the loudspeakers. Buy a hot dog. Go see a game. People are laughing. People laugh at him. Do they not know what a fracking punchline they are?
There are measures that the federal government can take right now to help continue to drive down violence and crime in our city.
It's called arresting criminals. You know, it's a funny thing to go on CWB, which I go on repeatedly. I mean repeatedly. Trooper with a broken leg and a concussion climbed from a wrecked squad car where he was hit by a drunk driver out on court supervision for a previous DUI. And this dog, she looks like Oddjob with long hair. She's a beanie away from being Oddjob. Do you ever see a Goldfinger squirrel? Looks just like him. Her name is Natalie Ortner. Must be Pennsylvania Dutch. And she is a drunk pig. 3 DUIs. This last one, she hit a cop who climbs out of the car with a busted leg and a concussion to help her useless, worthless ass again. And all of these Brandon Johnson cuts. How many times do we read the story? Out on probation, ankle bracelet, guns, and all the rest. Oh, and by the way, this pig, she had a Corona and a gun in the car. What the hell are you doing? You must have been robbing a Burger King, you fat pig. This is how they live. And somehow this is your fault. Somehow this is the red state's fault. It is because their school system and their quality of life is a ghetto. The kids cannot read. This slob has no way to do anything other than get drunk and crash into cars.
We need the federal government to stop the endless flow of guns into our state and into our city.
See, the federal government, ironically, cannot jump in and prosecute the criminals the way your crooked Democrat court system releases them on society. And this is the play, because it works. It works. And out there are morons that'll say they just need more money. And nobody cares about the fact they've been stealing money since Rahm Emanuel had all 10 fingers.
Look at this $425 million tip subsidy for the 78. Why do you support spending taxpayer money to help that mega project move forward? Why does that make sense for taxpayers?
To develop a whole community in which we're going to create jobs and housing and be able to generate revenue to make more investments into people. Why am I investing to invest more into people? I mean, that's the hallmark of my...
What an absolute moron. You cannot derive revenue from government money. So the $400 million, how much you think you're going to get back in revenue? You think that is going to lead to more money that comes from the private sector or more welfare? And the snake eats its tail and feeds on itself time in and time out. You know who knows this, squirrel? Pritzker. Pritzker knows this. He's smart. He can read. After all, he's got a wing of a law school named after him. Sure, his grandfather bought it, but still, he can read.
This is the president that thought that he could hire an unqualified company to paint the reflecting pool and then thought that it would just be free of algae, and yet days later it turned into an algae sea.
Do you think Pritzker knows in 2013 it was Barack Obama that had the bright idea? The bright idea of bringing in the water from their body of water there that they call a lake. It's a ghetto. Of course, Washington, D.C., run by Democrats. Ghetto water into ghetto water. Trump fixed it, and now they've arrested 6 Democrats. Built like you, Pritzker. Not a muscle in their upper body. Flapjacks for boobs, slapping around, cutting the pool, poisoning the pool. That's what you Democrats do. You ruin everything. That's why our once great city is now selling buildings at about an 84% loss on average the last 2 months. Buy one, I dare you. Corey in Woodlawn. Corey?
Person. Yeah, can you hear me?
Now I can.
Yeah, we had a homeless person set a person on fire. So what does Brandon Johnson want now? He wants the federal government to stop the flow of gasoline to the city? This guy's a joke.
You need scum control. That's the phrase. You don't need gun control. You need scum control. There isn't a place with more guns than where I live. And you're talking about old people. They don't have one gun. They got 100 guns. And not one of them goes off unless they're being robbed by a Democrat. Not a one of them. This is a scum control problem. And you know what Brandon Johnson doesn't want you to know? That's what they produce. They produce the illiterate, degenerate, drug-dealing scum over and over and over again and then blame the system. So now Chicago Public School asks for more money. It's not for education. It's for their pensions.
Today is the first Chicago Public Schools budget hearing of the summer, and the district is facing that $700 million shortfall. And that's why the Chicago Teachers Union wants the governor to call lawmakers back to Springfield. They say.
How many, was it 44 million, Squirrel, or 24 million? No, 24 million they stole in chicken wings. I think it was 44 million in laptops during COVID they can't find, as the degenerates they call students sold them. Yeah, you need more money. Sure you do. You need to be put into receivership. You cannot govern. You're Democrats. You're thieves. Failures. Glenn, Orlando.
Sean, I remember in 2020 when Trump was president, he sent a letter out to Pritzker and Lightfoot offering federal assistance for all the crime going on in the city, and they did not respond to him. So this crime has been going on for 6 years since President Trump's first term, and nothing's changed. It's actually gotten worse.
Well,
so
what has to change is our
leadership.
What has to change is our interpretation of it. You see, there's no such thing as a sanctuary state. There are just areas that declare federal law null and void, and they declare themselves at war with the federal government. And yet the federal government still pays their schemes. Still pays all. These are welfare states. Illinois is a welfare state. That's why in the budget, when he said, "Oh, we got a mistake for $500 billion," nobody cared because the whole budget's fake. It's all fake, 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 and they exist on money laundering from the federal government, which means the decent people, and debt. This isn't even. You're not redistributing wealth. You're creating debt to be stolen in these Democrat enclaves. It's really that simple. And whether they use it, the foreign policy scheme of USAID or the domestic scheme of Medicare, Medicaid, and public schools, it's about stealing our money. That's what they do. 312-642-5600.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Sean Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.